Hi everyone, I hope you are fine. You're welcome to my channel, and if you're new to this channel, this is Nancy. Please subscribe, share and like my videos, and don't forget to put on your notification bell to receive future videos. Thank you. The first thing to do is to fold your fabric into two, and to get the wideness of the fabric you use the largest part of the measurement, which is the hip measurement. The hip measurement is 40 inches. You divide by quarter and it gives you 10 inches. Then you add 2 inches allowance, making 12 inches. So by the time you fold the fabric, you check if it is more than 12 inches. If it is like 13 inches, then it is okay. The neck depth is very important when crafting an off-shoulder blouse or dress, because it determines how low and high you want the neck to be. Using a neck of 6 inches, it will show your cleavage a little, but I'll be using a neck of 5 inches here. So I'll start drafting from 4.5. So by the time I sew half inch seam allowance, it gives me 5 inches. Then you mark. The next line will be the armhole line. The armhole is 18 inches, and when you divide by 2, it gives you 9 inches. Then the next line is the breast point line, which is the nipple, and it is 10.5 inches. And the under bust is 13.5 inches. And the next line here is the half length, which is 15.5 inches. And finally, the blouse length. The blouse length here is 23 inches, but we're adding 1 inch seam allowance, and then you extend the lines. So now we are done with the vertical measurement. Having done that, we take the dart. To get the dart, you divide the bust span by 2. The bust span is 8 inches. When you divide by 2, it gives you 4 inches, and then you add half inch seam allowance, making 4.5. If you start your markings from the breast point, it's advisable not to begin from the neckline, because you don't want the neckline to be excess, and you want to feel comfortable when you try to pick or to lift an object, so it doesn't show the bust. So now I'm taking 4.5 on the breast point down to the under bust, that's 4.5, and to the half length, which is 4.5, and the blouse length 4.5, and that's all. So you read a straight line from the breast point down to the blouse length. Right. So now to get the dart from the neckline, you add 1 inches to the 4.5 you already took on the bust points, which is 4.5 plus 1 inches, giving us 5.5 inches. Then you mark. So you use your ruler, connect the lines together. From the breast point, you go down by 1 inch, then you mark. And then from the under bust, you take 3/4 inch from both sides, that's before the line and after the line. Then the half length, you take half inches before the line and after the line, then you connect. So the next thing now is to take 1 inches above the blouse length, and you connect the lines. So now to get the darts from the neckline, you take 1 inches above the breast point, and then for the neckline, you take 1 inch before the line and 1 inch after the line. Then you connect. To make the breast point pronounced, to use your French curve to curve. We are done with the vertical measurement. Now we move to the horizontal measurement. So from the neckline, you take the neck width. The neck width I'm using for this measurement is 5 inches. So taking this dart, we have 2 inches. You add 2 inches to the 5 inches, making 7. So by the time you sew it, it gives you 5 inches. Then you add seam allowance half inches, making 7.5 inches. The armhole line, you divide the bust measurements by quarter. That's 36 divided by quarter is 9 inches. And then we have half inch dart here, so we add it to the 9 inches, making 9.5. And you had 1.5 inch seam allowance, making 11 inches. And we move to the half length measurements. The waist measurement is 28 inches. If you divide it by quarter, you'll be having 7 inches, and then you had this 1 inch that's 7 plus 1 is 8 inches, and then you had your 1.5 inch seam allowance, that's 9.5 inches. So the hip measurement is 40 inch. We are placing it here on the blouse length. The hip is 40, so we say 40 divided by quarter is 10 inches. Then we had 2 inches seam allowance, making 12 inches. Now we connect the lines. So from the armhole, we use a French curve to get the curve. If you don't want the edges of the blouse line to be sharp, you can use your French curve for this. This is done by taking 2 inches above the blouse length and then placing your French curve exactly on the blouse length line to meet the 2 inches you already marked, and then you trace. The bust span is 8 inches, but here it shows it's 9 inches. So by the time you sew half inch seam allowance to both sides, it gives you 8 inches. You need just a straight neck. This is the right pattern for it. But if you want to have a little curve at the neckline, you can just fold the center about ½ inches and then use a French curve to connect it with the tip. So this is what you have now. For the back pattern, you fold the fabric into two and then you take your 1 inch zip allowance. Then connect the lines. So let's start with the vertical measurement. I have 4.5, which is the starting line. The armhole is 9 inches and the half length is 15.5 inches. The blouse measurement is 23. We had 1 inch seam allowance, making 24, and we extend the line. For the back pattern, we'll be omitting 2 measurements that we actually did at the front, which is the breast point and the underbust, because it's not needed. Now we are done with the vertical measurements for the back pattern. The next thing to do is to get the dart. You divide the bust span by 2, that's 8 divided by 2, giving us 4 inches, and you add ½ inch seam allowance. So you start the markings from the chest line, that's 4.5 to the half length and down to the length of the blouse, that's 4.5. Then you join the lines together. Straight down. From the chest line, you take down 1 inches, and from the blouse line, you take up 1 inches. Then for the half length, you take ½ inches before the line and ½ inches after the line. Then you join. After drafting the darts, the next thing is to take horizontal measurements. Remember, we used 5 inches on the neckline for the front pattern, but because we took 2 inches dart allowance, we made it 7 inches and added ½ inches seam allowance. But here we will use the exact measurements because we are not taking any darts from the neckline. So the exact measurement is 5 inches. Then you had ½ inch seam allowance, making 5.5. Then for the bust measurement, the bust is 36 divided by 4, you have 9 inches. Then you had 1.5 inches seam allowance. Waistline is 28 inches divided by 4, we have 7 inches. And when you had your ½ inch you took from both sides, which is 1 inch to 7, it gives you 8 inches. So we mark 8 inches. Then you had 1.5 inches allowance. The lower line, which is the length of the blouse, we take the hip measurement divided by 4, that's 40 divided by 4 is 10 inches. Then you had 2 inches seam allowance, making 12 inches. And then you connect the lines. So use the French curve to get the armhole, just exactly what we did in the front piece. The Remember I said to avoid the sharp edges at the lower part of the blouse, you take up 2 inches above and then use your French curve. You place it directly on the line and you curve it to the 2 inches you marked already. Always remember to separate the back piece for the zip allowance. The next thing left is the neck depth for the back. Remember we subtracted half inches for the neck depth in the front, so I would advise we just reduce it a bit. You can take it by 1 inch or 1.5. Well, let's take it from 1.5. The next thing left now for the back pattern is the neck depth. Remember we took half inches for the neck depth in front, but it's advisable to use exactly the same half inches or below half inches, but I'll be using 1.5 inch. And use your French curve to connect. To show that the front armhole and the front neck width corresponds with the back, you fold the back piece by 1 inch. That's for the zip allowance. Then you place the center of the front piece and then this side. Do you see that it corresponds? So by the time you sew your half inch here, it gives you exactly what is here. Remember we deducted 2 inches from the front armhole, so that is why this is going to give you exact measurements with the back armhole and the back neck width. So this is it. Okay, here you can see that it's 5.5, and if you sew it by the half inch seam allowance, it gives you 5. For the sleeve, you fold the fabric this way. The length of the sleeve is 12 inches, but I'll be adding 1 inch allowance, making 13 inches. So I'll mark my starting line down to the 12 inches and the seam allowance, which is 13 inches. Then the next line to mark is the cap sleeve. The cap sleeve can be calculated by dividing the bust measurement by 12 and adding 0.5. That is 36 divided by 12 is 3 inches, and then you add 0.5. It gives you 3.5 inches, and then you extend the lines. Remember we deducted 4.5 for the neck depth when we calculated the off shoulder from the main body. So from this 4.5 deducted above, we'll take it to this point here, and then you mark 4.5. Then for the cap sleeve, the armhole is 18 inches. You divide by 2, it gives you 9 inches. Then you add half inch seam allowance or 1 inch seam allowance, but I'll be using 1 inch seam allowance, making 9 inches. The sleeve opening is 6 inches. I'll be adding 1 inch seam allowance, making 7 inches. Then I'll connect the line. And from this point, we connect the armhole. and you trim. Remember, you can use any length of your choice. So this is how it looks like. Then to see if it corresponds with this, you place it like this. Can you see? It's giving us exactly the same armhole measurements. So that is all for the off-shoulder blouse. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button and share. Thank you.